Stop. Listen to this before making any decision, because at the precise moment when you feel you can't take any more, that's when heaven bends down to speak to you. And today, my voice isn't just another voice. It's the echo of a truth your soul is begging to hear. In silence, this is not the time to give up. I know you're exhausted. I see it in your eyes when you look in the mirror, in your shallow breathing, when you remember everything you've endured. You've been strong for far too long. You smiled while breaking inside. You kept moving forward when everything in you screamed for a pause. And yes, you've even thought about giving up, letting go of everything, disappearing a little, even if no one knows. But listen with an open heart. The divine has seen every tear you've dried in silence, every night you fell asleep asking for a sign, relief, a word that would tell you you're not alone. And today, finally, that word has arrived. This isn't the end. It's only the darkest moment before dawn. I know you've heard that phrase before, but today it's not a cliché. Today, it's a promise. Because what you don't know is that while you were thinking of giving up, heaven was already preparing the most wonderful turning point in your story. Before continuing, write this mantra in the comments. I am guided, protected, and strengthened by angels of light. This will open a portal of illumination in your life. Stay with me now. You, courageous woman, weren't created to stay down. You were woven with threads of faith, light, divine resistance. There's fire in your spirit, even if today it seems like just a spark. But even a spark, when cared for, can ignite an entire forest. And you, when you find your strength again, will burn with a light no one can extinguish. The problem is, you've grown accustomed to surviving and forgotten how to live. You've given so much of yourself, loved so deeply, fought so hard, that you've lost yourself in the middle of it all. But today, the divine isn't calling you to keep surviving. Today, he's reminding you who you are, where you come from, and where you're going. Do you know what the divine sees when he looks at you? He doesn't see a defeated woman. He doesn't see a broken woman. He sees his daughter, his perfect creation, his warrior, the one who has weathered storms that would have sunk others. And yet, here you are. Perhaps wounded, yes, perhaps worn, but standing, listening, opening your soul to a message that's no coincidence, because nothing you're experiencing is coincidence. Even this pain that grips your chest today has purpose. It wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to reveal you. To reveal the strength you carry within, the faith still breathing in you, the love you still deserve to receive. You're not alone, you never have been. With every difficult step, in every silence, in every sleepless night, the divine has walked with you, even if you didn't feel it, even if you thought he had abandoned you. He was there supporting you in the invisible, speaking through intuitions, sighs, that little hope you refused to let die. And now he tells you, my daughter, don't give up, because what I have for you is greater than everything you've lost. Your story doesn't end with disappointment, betrayal, or that shattered dream. The divine doesn't write sad endings for souls like yours. He writes miracles, new beginnings, restored lives, healed hearts. Right now in the comments, my energy is sacred and no harm has power over me. This shows the universe you recognize your worth and no longer accept being affected by toxic energies. Let's continue together. I know your heart has been wounded, that you've loved people who didn't know how to love you back, that you've given parts of yourself that were never valued, and sometimes you think the problem is you. But listen carefully. You weren't too much, you were real. And in a world full of masks, being real hurts, but it also liberates. The divine doesn't want you hiding, doesn't want you dimming yourself to be accepted. He wants you to shine with the intensity he created you with, to heal, rebuild, embrace yourself, to understand that your worth doesn't depend on who loved or rejected you, but on the one who conceived you. And He, the creator of everything, never makes mistakes. You're not a mistake. Your pain wasn't a mistake. Your story has meaning even when you can't see it. This wound you carry today will one day become testimony because other women will find hope listening to you. Your path hasn't been in vain. The divine will use every part of you, even those you'd want to erase today, to create something sacred. But for this, you must stay, not give up. Breathe deeply, cry, if necessary, fall to your knees and say, "My God, I can't take anymore, but I trust you." And He will answer, not with grand words, but with details, with people who arrive when you need them most, with unexpected opportunities, with that peace that doesn't come from the world but from heaven, with strength that isn't yours but settles in you like an embrace. Your life matters, your story matters, and you, woman, are more necessary than you believe. There's someone inspired by you, even if you don't know it. There's someone who admires you silently, and there's a purpose only you can fulfill. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the divine. Don't give up on love, because all of it returns purer, stronger, more yours. Today, I want you to do just one thing. Stay, breathe, and listen, because the divine isn't finished with you. This is only the beginning of your return. If you're still here, it's because something in you is still listening. Maybe it's a gentle voice, barely a whisper, but it's enough, because sometimes hope doesn't shout, doesn't make noise, doesn't push. It just stays there like a small light that refuses to go out. And that light, my dear, is your soul reminding you who you are, your essence connected to heaven, telling you there's still something beautiful waiting for you. I know you've often wondered, why me? Why did I have to go through so much pain? Why did I have to love without being loved the same way? Why did they betray me when I only gave my best? And I understand you. I've heard these questions in many tired hearts, and I always answer the same thing. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Sometimes the soul needs to break for light to enter. I know it seems unfair, but listen with your heart, not your pain. If this message touches you in any way, consider supporting this mission by clicking like. This gesture helps us continue bringing messages like this to all who need them. Infinite gratitude. The divine doesn't allow you to go through darkness without planning an exit. And not just any exit, but one that elevates, renews, transforms you. What you're experiencing isn't the end of your story, it's the middle. The part where everything seems to collapse, where you lose strength, question yourself, feel you can't continue. But after this comes the most powerful part, where you're reborn, where you stop begging for love and start receiving what you deserve, where your voice becomes firm, where your gaze no longer asks permission to shine, where you understand you survived the worst, and that gives you the right to demand the best. Write in the comments, "Where light dwells, no shadow remains." This is your invisible shield against everything that has tried to stop you until today. Breathe deeply, because the next revelation will move you. The divine doesn't want you returning to what broke you. He doesn't want you repeating cycles of pain simply because you fear being alone. Being alone isn't the same as being empty. And you're not empty. You're full of life, experiences, learnings. You're full of strength you didn't even know you had. The loneliness you feel now isn't punishment. It's a pause, an opportunity. It's the divine cleaning the path, removing what wasn't for you, so you don't settle for crumbs when what He's prepared is a banquet of love, peace, fulfillment. But to receive the new, you must release the old. Release the guilt of having loved so much. Release resentment toward those who didn't know how to value you. Release the need to understand everything. Release control. Release fear. I know it's not easy. No one taught you to let go without feeling you're losing. But today, I'm here to tell you, you lose nothing. You gain space. Space for you, for your peace, for your new story. The divine waits for you to choose yourself, to place your hand on your heart and say, I no longer want to live in survival mode. I want to live in fullness. I want to love myself as I've always deserved. Because that's the key. The love you seek begins in you. And no, this isn't just a beautiful phrase, it's profound truth. Because as long as you don't love yourself, you'll continue accepting less than you deserve. You'll continue seeking validation from those who don't even know how to give you respect. You'll continue waiting for someone else to save you when salvation is already within you. Your soul doesn't need saving. It just needs remembering. Do you remember when you dreamed without fear? When you got excited about small things? When you believed everything was possible? That woman still lives in you. She's just hidden under fatigue, under disillusion, under the never again you told yourself in your loneliest nights. But she's there, and the divine wants you to awaken, her to believe again, to dream again, to live with an open heart again, but this time with wisdom, because now you know what you don't want, what you don't deserve, that you won't beg for love, that if someone wants to be in your life, they'll show it. And if they don't, you won't wait anymore. That's your strength. And it doesn't come from being hard. It comes from being conscious, knowing your worth, even if others don't see it. The divine is raising a new woman in you, a freer, stronger, more authentic version. And this woman doesn't have to carry everything, doesn't have to do everything alone, because now she knows she can surrender not to pain, but to divine guidance. Right now, I receive the light, peace, and protection that are rightfully mine. By doing this, you activate a portal of liberation in your life. And what comes next is revealing. Surrender, yes, but into the divine's arms. Give him your burden, your doubts, your fears, and tell him, let your will be done, because I no longer want to live from my wound. I want to live from your love. And you'll see how everything begins to change, not magically, not overnight, but little by little the soul begins to heal, the heart begins to beat with more peace, eyes begin to see new possibilities, and what seemed like the end transforms into a new beginning. A different life awaits you, a version of yourself you don't know yet, a love that doesn't hurt, doesn't wound, doesn't disappear. A peace that depends on no one, only you. But all of this begins here, when you decide not to give up, when you choose to stay one more day, when you believe, even with eyes full of tears. And I'll be with you at every step, whispering to your soul, protecting you from what you can't see, guiding you where you deserve to be, because you're not just anyone. You're a miracle with legs. You're the answer to someone else's prayers, your seed, your fruit, your path. And no one, absolutely no one, has the power to extinguish what the divine has lit in you. Listen carefully, because what you're feeling now isn't weakness, it's sensitivity. It's your soul saying, I can't take the fake anymore. I don't want to carry what doesn't belong to me. I don't want to pretend everything's fine when inside me there's a universe screaming for freedom. And it's good to feel this. What's not good is continuing to ignore it. Today, I come to touch that corner of your heart you've kept under 1,000 locks, the one no one knows because you've always been the strong one, the one who solves, who endures, who takes care of everyone. But who takes care of you? The divine. The divine takes care of you when you can't even take care of yourself, when you don't recognize yourself in the mirror, when your soul feels tired, when you can't put on a good face anymore. There, right there, he embraces you. And his embrace isn't seen, it's felt in that sudden calm, in this message that arrived when you were about to give up, in that song that played just when you needed it most, in that thought that came from nowhere and made you breathe differently. The divine always speaks, but when the world's noise is so loud, it's hard to hear him. That's why today I speak to you, because he wants you to know this. You're nobody's mistake. You're not broken. You're not hard to love. You're someone who loved more than she should have, who forgave more than they deserved, who believed in people who only knew how to hurt. But none of that defines your worth. Right, with every step, angels firm the ground beneath my feet. This brings balance and confidence for what's about to be revealed. Your worth isn't measured by how many times you've been rejected, how many times you've been failed, how many times you've been left waiting in pieces. Your worth comes from the divine, and no one can take away what heaven has already decreed. Things that didn't work out weren't for you. People who left did so because their energy wasn't compatible with your light, and paths that closed did so because if you had continued there, you would have lost yourself. I know it hurt. I know you cried without anyone noticing. I know that amid everything you gave, often the only thing you received was silence. But here's something important. The divine doesn't forget what you've done for love. Every gesture, every sacrifice, every sincere gift, even if the world didn't value it, heaven recorded it all. That's why the reward comes not as revenge, not as human justice, but as divine restoration. Because everything you sowed with love will return multiplied. And not in the hands of those who didn't know how to care for you, but in a new life, lighter, truer. The divine doesn't want to see you dragging the past. He doesn't want you living in fear of falling in love again. He doesn't want you thinking the best has already passed. He wants you to know the best is coming, but for this you must heal. And healing isn't forgetting. Healing is being able to look at the past without your soul burning. Healing is being able to talk about what you lived without feeling your heart break. Healing is recognizing that yes, it hurt, but it didn't destroy you. Yes, you cried, but you didn't go out. Yes, you suffered, but you also learned. And now from this learning, you have the right to choose differently, to say, I no longer want half-hearted love. I no longer want broken promises. I no longer want to stay where there's no reciprocity. You deserve love that stays. You deserve company that listens. You deserve respect without having to demand it. You deserve tenderness that doesn't hurt. And you deserve to start over with yourself. Yes, with yourself. Because as long as you keep waiting for someone else to give you what you don't give yourself, you'll stay in the same cycle. Today, your greatest commitment is with yourself, with your soul, with your truth, with this woman who cries to be seen, heard, embraced by you. Because if you don't choose yourself, no one will do it for you. Right now in the comments, I am in peace, I am in light, I am in protection. Let this vibration resonate in your soul, because what I'm about to tell you can change how you see everything. And when you begin treating yourself with love, something magical happens. What wasn't for you moves away on its own. What didn't fit falls away. And what's real arrives without asking. The divine will send you what you need, but not while you remain attached to what has already expired, what has already completed its cycle, what only exists in your memories and hopes. He wants to give you something new, but you must empty your hands. Let go, trust, breathe, and understand that surrendering isn't failing. Surrendering to the divine is starting over with different strength. This strength that isn't obtained through human effort. This strength that comes from heaven. This peace that isn't negotiated. This joy that depends on no one else. You'll start laughing again, you'll start feeling butterflies again, you'll fall in love with life again, but first, you must fall in love with yourself, with your nobility, with your story, with your beauty that isn't seen in a mirror but in how you care, how you embrace, how you look. You, woman with a great soul, weren't born to be hidden. You were born to be light, to touch lives, to inspire through your example. And this is only accomplished if you decide not to give up. If this message has resonated in your heart so far and you want to support it reaching other people who are also at their limit, click like. This small gesture helps keep alive this mission of bringing light to those who have lost hope. Immense gratitude. So here I am, taking your hand from the invisible, speaking directly to your heart, and repeating once more, the divine isn't finished with you. He's just beginning the best part of your story. Take a breath, feel you're alive. And as long as you're alive, everything can change. No matter how much you've been hurt, no matter how many times you've fallen, no matter if today you feel you're on the edge of giving up, because the most beautiful truth you must remember is this: it's not over yet. The divine continues writing your story, and he doesn't write in haste, from fear or from pain. He writes from love, from eternity, from wisdom you don't understand yet, but will one day thank him for. Yes, you'll be grateful. You'll look back and understand why that love didn't work, why that door closed, why that person walked away, why you felt so alone just before awakening. Because that's what's happening now, an awakening. You're not falling, you're awakening, returning to yourself. Going back to the origin, to the place where everything makes sense, where you don't need to pretend or strive to be loved. You're returning home, and this home isn't a physical place. This home is you, your soul, your heart, your truth. Because when you choose yourself, when you embrace yourself, when you stop running after what doesn't fit you, everything changes. And that's when the divine acts with more power. If this message has deeply touched something in your heart, if something here has resonated with what you're feeling right now, I want to ask you for a gesture of tenderness. Stay close, don't walk alone. Be part of this space where many women, like you, are awakening, healing, rebuilding. Subscribe to this channel, not out of trend, but for yourself, because you deserve to receive more messages like this. Words that nourish, voices that heal, presences that accompany. Share in the comments, not just to express what you feel, but so other women know they're not alone, that you too are on this path, that together we're stronger, because when one heals, we all heal a little. When one shines, we all remember we can too. Tell us your story. Tell us what this message brought you, what you learned today. Your voice matters. Your testimony can illuminate the path of another soul going through what you've been through. So here's how I close this message, but I don't close my presence. I'll be with you at every step, because giving up is no longer an option. Believing is your new beginning. You're loved beyond your understanding. You're precious beyond your wounds, and your most beautiful story begins now. If you're ready to claim your divine inheritance and step into the woman you were always meant to be, express your energy in the comments with one of these powerful affirmations. I am worthy of true love. Divine timing is perfect. Choose myself. Your words carry power, and by declaring your truth, you activate the universe to align with your highest good. Remember to like this message if it touched your soul. Subscribe for more divine guidance, and visit our exclusive content where we dive deeper into healing, manifestation, and spiritual awakening. You are not alone. You are divinely loved. Your breakthrough is coming.